In our last video, we took a look at this Allen Bradley industrial PC. And inside this metal monstrosity, we found a pretty nice Pentium 100 system. We cleaned up its oppressively filthy interior, serviced the LCD so that we could actually see it, and removed the piercingly loud server fan and swapped in something a little more RGB. Because this heavy metal behemoth is going to be our 90s industrial gaming PC. So today, let's use the single floppy drive, which is the only input on this system, and install Windows 95 from 22 floppy disks. Oh god, so stay tuned. And if you enjoy the thought of frivolously installing software on what was once extremely serious industrial machinery, I hope you'll consider subscribing to the channel. Welcome to the first video of the year. During the week I took off, I was pretty shocked to see the traction that our last video on this metal behemoth actually got. Glad to see there's so many fans of 90s industrial. Anyway, I've had some time to think about what we're gonna do with this thing, and I think I've got it. Industrial gaming PC. Be the talk of your local LAN party when you show up with a huge industrial PC from the 90s. And then destroy everyone in Rise of the Triad as you destroy your friend's coffee table with 70 pounds of jagged metal. Well, we're not going to get very far as a gaming PC without any form of working storage, and actually that floppy drive, well, that's totally dead. So let's swap in something a little more solid state, like a CF card to IDE adapter. And then we'll swap in what I think is a working floppy drive, although I did find this on the floor of my basement. It's probably fine. And then we'll install Windows 95 the way the original operators of this single floppy drive system would have had to do it back in the day. Probably from a stack of 23 floppy disks. Right after a quick word about today's sponsor, PCBWay. I don't know how you like to ring in the new year, but I like to do it with printed circuit boards. PCBWay has long been the go-to source for fast, easy, and inexpensive PCBs and PCB prototyping. Of course, these days they offer way more than that. 3D printing, CNC machining, and even sheet metal fabrication. You know, if you wanted to clone one of these things. They even offer on-site PCB assembly and can source some of the components for you with their turnkey service. So if you have any PCB or prototyping needs, I hope you'll give PCBWay.com a try. Oh my god, it's so heavy. Okay, so lucky for us, this thing is pretty modular. The floppy drive is on a little sled here. Get back in there, RGB fan. Unlucky for us, we are gonna have to flip this over to get to the screws. So I'm gonna need to find some more padding to not destroy my desk. That's annoying, my screwdriver doesn't fit in this stupid hole. No wonder that floppy drive died. Fresh floppy drive. I guess let's see if it works. All right, floppy drive A installed. Oh yeah, booting from floppy. So let's give it something to actually install to. Okay, well, I've made a grave mistake that I didn't actually catch on camera, but I had this adapter sitting on top of a DVD-ROM drive behind the computer that I was going to try to install later, and it's important to never let the spiky metal bits on your electronics touch other metal and power it on, because they will short out. And yeah, this thing smells terrible now. and I think it's ruined. But that's okay, because I totally remembered something that I should have thought of in the first place. I still have a whole bunch of these industrial disk modules, which are flash storage, basically SSDs, intended for exactly this kind of device. These were sold as basically a drop-in replacement to give more reliable solid-state storage to old industrial machines that might still be in production with failed spinning hard drives. Let's see if it's recognized. Hey, hard disk 0, hyperdisk SSD. Awesome. And of course, we're not going to use the niceties of a modern keyboard and mouse. We're doing this install from the membrane keyboard. I'm questioning my life choices. 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 Well, that was silly and effective. We now have a working install of Windows 95, and yeah, using this membrane mouse, oh my god, it's terrible. And also amazing. No, it's just terrible. Come on, you. Okay, got it. Now, for some reason, it's not filling the full screen here, even though DOS does. So maybe there's a video driver we need? Or maybe just in the settings? Oh, this mouse is terrible. I mean, we could always use a regular ADB mouse and keyboard on here, but I feel like in the spirit of whatever horrible game this is we're playing, that would be cheating. Increase desktop area. Doesn't work. Yes, it does. Okay. And apply. Need to specify the type of monitor. Okay. 800 by 600 laptop display. Yeah. I have to restart. Okay. Okay, I don't think it likes that setting. Let's try some more. Alright, let's say Super VGA. 800 by 600 since it says Chips and Tech. Super VGA. Apply. No, I don't think it likes that either. Crap. Okay, so I've tried just about every reasonable driver combination on here, and I just don't think the default install of Windows 95 likes this thing's display. But, never fear, I've come up with a genius and or ridiculous solution. I think. Micro SD card. This is a micro SD to IDE adapter card, and I am maybe 30% sure that this should work because it works in everything else I've tried it in. And on the micro SD card here, I have put the files from the Windows 98 install CD. Hey, look at that! Synteki high-speed SD to CF adapter, even though it's not, well, it's SD to IDE adapter, but close enough, I hope. Well, unfortunately, the second IDE on the motherboard, for some reason, has decided to suddenly stop working. It worked for a minute and showed both IDE devices, but now, even if I swap around the IDE devices and tried some deoxit on the IDE connector, yeah, doesn't work. So we can't install anything from the second IDE, but in the meantime, I have the most important thing on floppy. I'm sure you are just as curious as I am as to what the gaming experience is like from the membrane keyboard. Is this the perfect giant DOS Game Boy? Let's find out. Well, with this mouse, it's not exactly promising. Alright, let's install Wolf 3D. We'll install it to the C drive. Wolf 3D directory. Create the directory. Alright. Alright, I'm just going to turn the pointer speed up a bit here. Oh god, it's so bad. And there's no sound because I don't have a PCI sound card laying around. So we're going to have Silent Wolfenstein. Of course, I am Death Incarnate. Alright. Mouse control is on. Oh no, I just fired a shot. Space is down here. Oh no. I don't know if mouse control is going to be the best option here. Okay, so I have some control. I'm out of bullets. The arrow keys up here, which is a little bit terrible. I'm being shot at here. Oh, got him. Wow, this is really, really tiring, actually. Okay. Let me just grab some health here. And, actually, let's see. Can I speed up the mouse? Alright, mouse sensitivity all the way up. You really have to push these buttons in. Alright. Oh my god. It's like crawl mode, and you accidentally tap the fire button. Oh god, it's horrible. Alright. Well, let's go murder somebody. Oh god. Oh, it's so hard. Gotcha. Oh my god. This is painful. No, don't close. Let me in. At least let me get this secret. Oh, it's so bad. Come on. Run, wolf. Run. Where'd you come from? Okay, well, not ideal playing with the membrane keyboard. It is possible. There's somebody behind me, isn't there? Nope. Okay. Fun. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly why the second IDE connector on the motherboard decided to stop working. I tried Deoxit, I tried a different IDE cable. That SD to IDE adapter works just fine in the primary IDE, but secondary IDE doesn't see anything. All of a sudden, after working just fine initially. So I do wonder if I cracked a solder joint or something with all the plugging in and unplugging that I was doing. But Windows 95 gave us enough of a look into what kind of awesome all-in-one gaming machine this thing can be, with this beautiful built-in membrane keyboard. And to that end, I have a couple of ideas and I want to run them by you and see what you think. First, of course, would be to take this thing back apart, see if I can find whatever cracked solder joint there might be. And then, yeah, I got the world's cheapest PCI sound card that unfortunately only works in Windows 98 and up, so we'll have to get Windows 98 on this thing. And of course, a pair of Amazon's finest RGB gaming speakers to go with it. So option number one, of course, is to keep this thing a killer DOS gaming machine. As for option number two, I think it would be hilarious to try to cram modern components into this thing and still use this screen and membrane keyboard. How about a Ryzen powered all-in-one gaming machine? And option number three, let's cram a Macintosh into this thing and try to get it to somehow still work with this front panel membrane keyboard and LCD panel. I'm pretty sure we can do it. Using the keyboard isn't so hard. Trying to figure out this LCD panel's connector, that might be kind of hard, but how funny would it be to have a Power Mac G3 all-in-one heavy metal panel computer? So let me know in the comments down below, which one do you think is the funniest? Which should we do? And should we do all of them? But that'll do it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more heavy metal shenanigans, please subscribe down below. And thank you very much for watching. And a special thanks to Alex Hoffman, Camila Noseda, Chris Allegretta, Chris Biggs, Chris Calderon, Chris Nelson, Cobalt Retrotech, Control-Alt-Reese, Daniel Hubbard, Greg from Hrutk Mods, Justin Reed, Michael Mulhern, Paul Spencer, Ryan, Scott Thompson, Sutek, and Tom Woodfin, who are my highest tiered patrons, and all of my Patreon supporters for helping to make these videos possible.